Welcome to Bold Talk series where creativity, leadership, ideas, innovation come together. My name is Ludvik and today I have a privilege to have a short one-on-one conversation with Eric Herzog, Chief Marketing Officer at Infinidat. Eric, great seeing you. Welcome to a Bold Talk series. How are you?
Great, Epi. Thank you very much for including myself and Infinidat in your Bold Talk series. Great opportunity. And of course, it's great content that you put out there for the world.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Eric. We have a lot of things in common, living in Singapore the past 12 years, you coming to Singapore often in these days when you were working at the EMC and IBM. Give us an overview of Infinidat and what motivated you to join the company.
Sure. So Infinidat's focus is high-end enterprise storage. 28% of the Fortune 50, so the 50 biggest companies in the world buy from us, but we're small, compared to our competition, IBM, where I used to be, EMC, which is now part of Dell. We're tiny. We're hundreds of millions of dollars. But our focus is on the high end. We pride ourselves on our white glove support and service. So we really take care of our customers. We're customer centric. We've won a number of awards, both from the storage analyst community as well as the press community. In fact, this year alone, we've won 25 awards already, and we're sitting here not even in July. So we make sure that we take care of our customers, and they tend to be the biggest in the world. So they're very, very demanding. I came here because I knew the CEO. So he and I had worked together back in the mid 90s. I was actually a customer of his. Then we worked together on a project. And then when I was a senior VP at EMC, he was a senior VP at EMC. So we worked together there. So he wanted to make a change at the CMO. He had inherited someone. I've been here for 2 years now. He's been here since the beginning of 2021. I came at the end of 2021. So he just sent me a mail. Zog, you got to come work for me. I met with him, some of the other members of the exec staff, and I've done a number of startups. Yes, I've been at IBM twice, EMC. I was also at Seagate and Maxtor. Maxtor got acquired by all Fortune 500 companies. But I've also done 8 small companies, 7 startups. So for me, I've got that capability of being what I'll call a hybrid. In fact, when I got hired at IBM the second time, they very specifically told me they were hiring me because not only do I have a broad business experience, not just marketing, but I've been a chief revenue officer multiple times. I've even been a CFO for 18 months at a startup. I've run manufacturing and operations 3 times, HR 3 times as a VP, but they wanted someone who knew big company, having been at IBM already, and they knew from EMC, but also could do small companies. They were looking for someone who is a hybrid, not a stereotypical big corporate bureaucratic exec. They wanted someone who'd done big and small to give them that flexibility. So that's kind of my background. And I came to Infinidat because I like doing, I'd been at a big company. I was at IBM for 6.5 years the second time. And I came to Infinidat from IBM.
Nice. Now, you mentioned about the white glove service in Infinidat in comparison to the other big guys out there. You're comparing yourself very small. Now, is there any other in the product offering, the service that makes you different from these companies besides just a white glove service?
Sure. So one of our big focuses while we sell a full solution, full system, we don't do any custom hardware. We have no custom chips, no custom anything. We just use off-the-shelf components. So our magic fairy dust, as we say in the States, it's really software. We have over 100 patents. 3 of them are for hardware design, not for an actual piece of hardware, but everything else is about software. So things like our neural cache technology, which allows most of the inquiries and exquiries on the storage side to come out of a DRAM cache, so it's very fast. We offer a number of guarantees in writing, 100% availability. Again, that's because of our software coupled with our hardware design. We offer performance guarantees, again, based on that neural cache technology. And we also offer cyber guarantees. So as you know, cybersecurity is one of the top concerns. Forget the CIO or the CTO. It's one of the top concerns of the board of directors and the CEOs. In fact, in the 2023 Fortune 500 survey, the number 2 concern after a bad economy, the number 2 concern was cybersecurity. And in 2021 and 2022, cybersecurity was number 1. So we have a very strong cybersecurity software technology that's embedded in our systems. That software technology has won 18 awards in the past 2 years. It's 2.5 years old now. And we even can integrate with cybersecurity software. So we do the security side on the storage, but we actually can talk to cybersecurity packages such as Microsoft Sentinel or IBM's QRadar, which have nothing to do with storage, but we talk to them, take cues from them, and then based if they see a cyber threat, we actually start doing things on the storage side to help ameliorate the cyber threat, help reduce the threat window, and if you really do have an incident, to dramatically accelerate the capability of recovering your data safely. So that's a big play for us, but all about our software. That's what really makes us, besides the white glove support and services, the value our software delivers to the underlying hardware, which we also sell.
Yeah, that's great. Now, Eric, your role in marketing, obviously marketing has changed and is changing all the time. Uh, uh, how has the role of marketing evolved with the rise of this digital transformation that we're seeing right now? Knowing that now you have this AGI in here, and there's a lot of things that are happening. How do you keep up with the pace, and what is your take on that?
So first of all, I'm almost 70 years old, and I've been doing this since many of the listeners weren't
You
even
look
born.
great, man.
Well, thank you. And so, I really believe that it's all about constant change. Okay. Human history, I have a master's degree in Chinese history. The history of the world is constant change. This empire, that empire, this war, that war, this philosopher, right? That famous athlete. It's all historical and it's constantly changing all over the world. So in marketing, it's constantly been undergoing a change. One of the key things I see, and this is my personal philosophy, is you always raise the bar. I don't care how good you are. You always raise the bar. And I literally got there. There used to be a TV show in the United States called Wide World of Sports. They were interviewing a pole vaulter named Sergei Bubka, who was from at the time, the Soviet Union. And he had like 17 world records. And the guy was like in his early 40s, and he was still pole vaulting. And, athletes in the Soviet Union back then were treated, like rock stars. So although it's supposed to be a communist country, they had the villas and they had money and they had all kinds of things that the normal Soviet citizen didn't have. And he said, because I can. He goes, when I'm up there, every time my job is to raise the bar and always do better. So I believe that marketing, and actually all of business, is about raising the bar. I also believe that marketing often is too siloed within itself and too siloed within a company. I don't care if an ad is great. It makes me feel good. That's not what's great. Marketing's job is to help drive sales, to help customers or potential customers understand why they should be buying from Infinidat, from SAP, from General Motors, from Toyota. That's marketing's job. And marketing needs to be a critical element of the overall business. I believe that business is a team sport. It's not wrestling. I used to wrestle in college, collegiate wrestler. It's not wrestling. It's football, whether it's American football or the other football, which we call soccer. It's rugby. It's basketball. It's hockey for people that like hockey. It's not an individual sport. It's not swimming. It's not tennis. It's not track. It's not wrestling. It is a team sport. So, because business is a team sport, marketing needs to be part of the team, both within itself, all the various functions of marketing, product marketing, channel marketing, technical marketing, solutions marketing, digital marketing, press, analyst relations, what you're doing in the social media space. All that needs to work together and what I call reinforced marketing. Then that has to be joined at the hip with the product management side. Now, the bulk of my career, I started as a product manager. So the bulk of my career has actually not been in the marketing side. It's really been as a product management guy who learned how to do marketing. And at EMC, at IBM, and at all the small companies, I ran all the marketing functions and product management. And in several of the small companies, 4 times, I was the chief revenue officer. So I was running sales, marketing, and product management. So my belief is they all need to be joined together, working as a team sport. And then, of course, one of the things I think really kills marketing, particularly in large enterprises, is the functionality silos.
Mm.
Channel marketing doesn't talk to the PR people. The PR people don't talk to the freaking social media people. And that makes everything worse because it makes marketing look like it's, not part of the company. And again, in certain companies, marketing really is its own thing. It's like, let's have cool ads. And does a cool ad drive a sale? Does a cool ad help reinforce the brand identity of that company? And so I think that are critical issues. Then obviously now you have change coming with things like AI, which is going to have a huge impact on marketing, both right now and into the future as well.
Yeah. Now, how important or how much of effort you put listening and leveraging to a customer's feedback to drive growth and innovation?
So this week, it's a Friday today when we're recording this. I was in the field for 2 days. Last week, I was in the field for 2 days. I do all our trade shows, and whether I was here or at the other big companies, IBM and EMC, I went to every trade show all over the world, the big ones. VMworld in Barcelona, VMworld in Japan, EMC World, Cisco Live all over the world. They've got Cisco Live in Europe. They have one in Asia. They've got one in the US. In addition to that, when I was at EMC and IBM, the bigger companies, I actually enforced for all of my team that were managers, not necessarily individual contributors, but managers not counting trade shows, had to spend 5 days in the field with end users, with channel partners, and both. So yes, we rotated doing the big trade shows. At EMC, I had 150 people working for me. At IBM, I had about 75. So everyone shared the load of the big trade shows except me. I went to every one of them.
Yeah.
Okay. I need to talk to customers, prospects, and the channel. But at both of those big companies, I enforced, and my marketing ops people tracked it, 5 days every quarter. So that's 20 days a year, not counting trade shows.
Wow.
So they'd have to be on the road for 5 days. And I don't care if it was one day a week. I don't care if it was local. Right now, all my directors and VPs at EMC, I had a couple of VPs reporting to me. They had to be not only in, and most of those organizations were in the US, but whatever their geo was. So, for example, I had several people in Asia when I was at EMC. Not only did they have to travel all over Asia, Singapore, Beijing, Sydney, they were also required to spend at least one set of those 5 days either in Europe or in North America. The North America guys, the same thing, at least one of those 5 days in Europe or in Asia, because otherwise you don't live the world. Now, by the way, marketing is a very metrics-driven thing. But if all you do is sit in that big ivory tower and just read a bunch of marketing metrics, that is not understanding. And it clearly doesn't understand how marketing can help sales sell. If you don't talk to customers, prospects, and channel for those companies that use channels, not every company is, some companies are direct. My companies have been both direct and channel. If you don't talk to those people face to face and look at the marketing metrics, you can't do a good job as far as I'm concerned. You're halfway doing it. If all you do are in the field all the time, you don't look at the numbers. And if all you do is look at the numbers, you never talk to the people. And again, because I am almost 70, I'm old world. I like to shake hands. And when it was COVID, I like to fist bump with a mask. You can still talk with a mask on. Okay. It's about interfacing with humans. And a lot of people don't do that anymore. I mean, even before COVID, let's just get on WebEx or Zoom. Okay, great. I just believe that the human touch is essential in everything people do, by the way, but in a business world in particular, you have to have a trust. You have to look them in the eye and set up that relationship, because that is what helps. And everything you do, I'm working something right now, and the guy we're working with, it's an alliance issue, an alliance partner, not a customer. The guy used to work for me. We're working alliance with another customer in the backup, or another alliance company in the backup space. And 4 of the VPs either worked with me or for me at other companies. It's all about that relationship. In Chinese, it's called guanxi. For those who speak Mandarin, I probably just mispronounced it, but it's about those relationships. And I really think that those relationships need to be, not only remote, not only over an email or a text, but literally face to face. So I go in the field all the time. And again, at the big companies, I made my people go in the field. At this company, we only have 15 people. But I've got 4 or 5 people who are very, very experienced, and they are in the field 5, 6 days a quarter, just like I am.
Wow. I really love your approach in marketing because it's about relationship. It's about the getting out there in front of the customer, understanding what are the pain points, listening, and seeing where things are, and also like doing that exchange, like you said, like from I have people from North America at least once to go in Asia and vice versa. These are really amazing for building that relationship, thinking about it in terms of more holistic approach, but also staying ahead in terms of the what are the emerging trends and technology. Is this how you stay ahead of emerging trends and technologies in your field?
Yeah, there's a couple ways. Obviously, there's people who are pundits, the industry analysts, right? And their part of their job is to prognosticate the future.
Mm.
Okay. That's great, but that doesn't always work. So it's a combination of what you hear from the experts, whether it be academics, whether it be analysts in your relative community. In my case, it would be in the enterprise storage world around storage software and storage systems that are used in enterprises all over the world, customers, prospects, the channel, and quite honestly, the competition. The competition may come up with a great idea. That doesn't mean you can't do it better. Once they publicly announce the idea, it's like, why the heck didn't I think of that? Okay. So guess what? Someone invented the swimsuit way back when historically. That doesn't mean whoever invented the swimsuit still is the dominant manufacturer of swimsuits on this planet. It's probably some other swimsuit company. And by the way, it might be one swimsuit company in Asia and another one in Europe and a different one in the Americas. If they're smart, they make swimsuits that work in all the areas. So if people in the Americas like purple, okay, you make it purple. Okay, whether it's the one-piece suit, the bikini, the racing suit, like for when you're on the swim team, your regular, swimsuit that you wear to the beach or the pool for the man, for the woman. And if, guess what, the color is yellow in Asia, you freaking make it yellow, right? And if the straps, if it's a bikini thing, and in the Americas, they like the straps over the shoulders, but they like it to tie behind their head in Asia, just do it. I mean, that's how you become the dominant player. So you've got to, I'm all about being flexible. I mean, like I said, I'm almost 70 years old, and sometimes I amaze myself at how much more flexible I am than people who are 35, 40, even 25. Yeah, it's constant change. It's change. That's what drives the world. Now, hopefully the change is good. Sometimes the change is bad. And again, since I was a history major, those who failed to remember the past are condemned to repeat it. So if something's bad, if you create a product that's bad, why was it bad? Did we build it wrong? Did we engineer it wrong? Did we miss the market? Was it too early? So let's take a look. I happen to have an iPhone. Okay. Now, there was a product that Apple came out with before the iPhone, before the iPad, before the iPod, and that product basically was the iPhone, except it didn't have the phone and the handwriting didn't work. I forgot what the hell the name of that damn Apple product was. It was like in the early 90s. It was a dismal failure. Same thing with the iPad. There was a company here in Silicon Valley called Slate. Slate raised $150 million to make essentially an iPad or the Microsoft equivalent, right? That's what they were doing. It didn't work. It was too expensive. The chips weren't there. Couldn't do the recognition. Okay, so was that a bad product? So you have to understand when you have something, was it wrong price, wrong technology, bad product, too late to market, everyone already has one, too early. Slate's the example, and it's the Apple Newton. The Apple Newton was a dismal failure, but this is essentially a Newton with a phone.
Yeah.
All the stuff that's on, almost everything that's on this iPhone, if you go back and look at the Newton materials, and I actually knew a couple of guys who are on the product management team, this is a Newton, except it's when the technology is available, it integrated a phone. The Newton might have made it if they just stuck a phone chip in there. Even though it had a lot of shortfalls, it could have made it, but they missed that mark. Well, guess what? iPod comes out as successful. Steve Jobs, a smart guy, he goes, when we had that Newton thing, that wasn't a bad idea. Maybe it was just too early. Okay. And the iPad, and of course, the Google version of all of the tablets. Slate is the perfect example. So you have to understand what you did wrong. Did you
Yeah.
market? What if it was a great product and you just priced it wrong?
Yeah.
Right?
That,
So
that
you need
there's
to
a
understand all that.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors. Actually, when I look at, for example, Apple, right? Apple is it's not that really invents products. It really like just goes and gathers the right technology that integrates into the product and pretty much launches in the right time, and makes it really good user experience. And so the timing is so important. Like you can have everything, right? As you mentioned, but if you miss the timing, like Slate, for example, you're just really wasted so much energy and money. And that itself really makes me think about like when we are trying to innovate, right? When we try new things, uh, what is our appetite for failure? And I want you to to come here and tell us like what is your approach to failure when you try new things, and how do you encourage risk taking within your team?
So first of all, I'm all about taking risks. I'm almost 70 years old. I'm working in a tiny little company that's essentially the phase right after initial startup. That's what I'm doing on almost 70 years old. I've been in startups when I was 60, 50, 40. I've also been in global Fortune 500s, IBM twice, EMC, now Dell, Seagate, which bought Maxtor. And at the time Seagate bought Maxtor, I was at Maxtor twice. Maxtor was a Fortune 500 company. So I've done the big and I've done the tiny. So it's all about risk taking. So I'll tell you a personal story. So I was a very good wrestler in college. In Asia, I think you'd say at the university level. In the US, we call it college. So after high school, when I started high school, I wrestled probably 30 matches. I won 4 and lost 26. By the time I was getting out of high school, I had 2 scholarships to colleges to wrestle in college. So I went from only winning 4. I've got a wall of medals in the house from wrestling tournaments in high school and stuff. I went from barely winning any when I was 14 years old to when I was 18, 2 universities saying, why don't you come wrestle at our university? So that's all about learning and changing and taking risks. I could have quit. Only winning 4 times, it's like, I got to quit. I suck. I'm lousy. No, I kept working at it. So I believe that the world is all about taking risks. Now, you want to calculate those risks, okay, to minimize what the impact will be. But sometimes you just got to jump. And I'm someone who uses my head, but you also got to go with your gut. And sometimes, and by the way, some people have very good guts. They really get it right time after time after time after time. If you get Elon Musk's politics, which some people like and some people, but if you get his politics, forget the political side. He's done a lot of stuff right from a gut level.
Yeah.
Electric cars before they were hot. What he's trying to do in the space thing, which now all the big all the big manufacturers, Airbus and Boeing, are trying to copy it. Oh my God, we should be making rocket ships too, right? Lockheed, all these big, global companies. It's like, wait a second. It's not just about NASA and the EU Space Agency and the China. Wait, we could do rockets. So, but Musk did it. So now politics are very polarizing, which is a separate discussion. But his gut was good. Steve Jobs, gut was really good. I would argue Bill Gates, as rich as he was Windows very good when it started? No. Oh, wait, Windows was kind of copying the Mac. The Office products, wait a second, there was Mac Write, Mac Paint, before there ever was Word or Excel. And by the way, Excel copied, I forgot the name of the damn company, but they were the first famous spreadsheet in the day. So I would argue Microsoft does a great job of copying other people's stuff and doing it better, and then clearly outselling them and outmarketing them.
Interesting.
Right? And so I would argue where Steve Jobs was a true innovator. Elon Musk, if you can pull the politics out of it, is an innovator. Okay? The guy at NVIDIA, an innovator. Right? And there's other people who they don't. I would argue, certain companies, they do very, very well. Microsoft is one of them. Maybe you could say now with AI they're leading, but before that, they made a giant company by basically copying the office products from other vendors, right, that were much smaller, clearly copying the operating system, right? MS DOS, there was actually another DOS. If you read the history of the IBM PC, there was another company here in Monterey, California that they went to first, and then they turned down IBM to be, and so somehow they got a hold of Bill Gates, and Bill Gates did MS DOS for IBM. But originally there was another company that turned them down. And I'm sure they're sorry they ever turned them down. So, you Microsoft does a great job of following and then out muscling. AI, maybe it's different. NVIDIA, a leader. Apple, always a leader. Elon Musk, politics aside, a leader. Okay. Other people are great followers. I mean, if you look at the electrical car space, everybody's kind of eclipsing Tesla. Not that it's not a great car, but now when you start looking at the volume, does Ford have a great electrical car? Yeah. Are they late to market? Yeah, but they're Ford, right?
Yeah.
They can outmuscle. So all that really factors in.
So yeah, I really like that because I tend to go with that, like listen to my spirit, like gut the spirit. It is something that it tells you accurately. So if you have a way that you have mastered how to listen to your spirit, to your gut, you become a better and better making the right decisions. And I think what these guys, Elon Musk and others, they truly master the art of listening to their gut and how to do it because the innovation is there. There's this statistics. I'm not sure if you have come across, but it say like an average person in age of 40 years old, their mind gets attacked around 70,000 times, 70,000 times a day. Think about this for a moment. Like 70,000 times a day, you get attacked by all these messages, and most of it, 90% of it, is either repetitive or negative. So you're only left with a 10%. So if you are going to listen to your mind all the time, you're going to just go back in this cycle. And this what really leads me to like really thinking about like how we can really think about uh, the innovation that starts from the gut first, not from a mind first. Eric, I'm truly enjoying this conversation. I wish we have a lot more time, but these are short format conversation. I have one more last question for you, and we wrap up.
Sure.
But we'll make sure that we'll do another conversation, a long format together with you. What does the word bold mean to you?
Bold has to me a couple things. A, being a leader. Leaders need to be bold. You need to be aggressive, not aggressive in a negative sense, but aggressive in a positive sense. Bold, you need to try things. You need to take risks, right? Was it bold for Columbus to sail around the world? Was it bold for the guys that, first climbed Mount Everest, right? These are bold activities. It involves, working hard, making a change, making a risk, and being a leader. There's a difference, I believe, between a manager and a leader. Some people are great managers, they're not good leaders. Other people are really good leaders, but boy, they sure as heck can't manage a project. And some people can do both. I put myself kind of in both categories. I've got several LinkedIn references, people saying, probably 40 or 50, saying, I'd work for that guy in a heartbeat again. To me, that's leadership, but it's also management. You got to take care of your people. So boldness is all of those things wrapped into one. And I really believe that you have to be bold to be successful. Doesn't mean you can't have a nice life and, a nice family. But if you want to be a leader, you want to be respected in your industry, you've got to be bold. And I don't mean bold in a negative way, because some people think bold is like, I'm going to steal that jewelry out of the jewelry store. That's not bold to me. That's stupidity.
Yeah.
Right? So bold in a positive way, leadership, risk taking in the right way, being aggressive in the right way. All of that is, to me, the spirit of boldness, which is what Bold Talks, of course, has done with all the various people you've been interviewing.
Well, with that, Eric, thank you for joining me. Congrats on all your successes. What a great energy I got for you. I'm getting so excited now. I'm looking forward, like I say, oh my God, what can I do here to make this a great day? Thank you for joining me in this Bold Talk series and looking forward to seeing you again soon. Again, take care, be great, and be bold always.